What's going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, GeoFucks in the building. And I just want to say, everything is not a conspiracy, okay? And I feel like, and I'm going to say it, I feel like when it comes to black people, we are always thinking that there's always some bigger reason behind this, that, and the other, or some sinister reason, and turning everything into a conspiracy. And particularly with these Hotep, No-Tep, Broke-Tep, dusty Negroes. They be the main ones sitting up spreading this misinformation and straight up ignorance. You know, you're sitting up here talking about some, this is a conspiracy because he was really fighting a pharmaceutical company and he was going to be buying the NBA logo and he was actually trying to buy an NBA team. So that's why they somehow messed with the wiring of the helicopter and the helicopter ended up going down. Like, that's the type of ignorance that a lot of y'all push, and it's just stupid. Like, why in the world are you sitting up here pushing misinformation and you know I'm about to go there? This fool is sitting outside of an abandoned, dilapidated school building, laying up against the RGB Pan-African rock, and in winter, it's January, it's winter. You outside of a dilapidated, abandoned school building, laying up against the Pan-African rock, spreading misinformation again, and spreading this conspiracy theory. And then keep in mind, he did this when he was on the Breakfast Club interview that he did in December, when he's sitting up, well, Bill Cosby was actually, his mansion was sitting on an oil refinery. Like, this is just the dumb mess that he constantly spreads. In the meantime, you were evicted from your apartment, allegedly. You are homeless, technically, allegedly. It's all kinds of crazy mess. But the thing is, it ain't just Umar Johnson. A lot of black people do this. Now, I will say this, though, right? Because you know me, Psych Perspectives. I like to look at various sides, right? I will say this. When it comes to black people, throughout history, we have had situations where, yes, the government did set up things to sabotage black people, black bodies, okay? So, again, this has happened. You know what I mean? There have been case in point. Okay, the Tuskegee experiment where they basically gave black people syphilis on purpose, talking about they were doing vaccinations, and literally gave black people syphilis to do a case study, and people died, okay, because they had syphilis and didn't know it and went untreated. So this has happened. So black people's, you know, granted, it isn't always a conspiracy theory, but when you look at history, black people have a reason to not believe most of what the government says and does. I mean, so I will say that, because all you got to do is look at history, okay? I mean, hell, we can go back into the late 70s, early 80s with the HIV epidemic. I mean, in many ways, the government will purposely harm marginalized identities and marginalized people because they don't care about them. So if we go back to the late 70s, early 80s with the HIV epidemic, at the time, it was mostly gay, cis men who were contracting HIV. And our government was like, who cares? Not our problem. We're homophobic, so we don't really care that this particular health illness is disproportionately affecting this group of people. And on top of the fact that we're homophobic, so we really don't care. So they allowed HIV to thrive and kill off entire, you know, populations of people. And until HIV started, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna tell you what happened with this one, in my opinion. When Ryan White, that white, cisgendered, perceived to be heterosexual child, contracted HIV through a blood transfusion, that's when the USA government was like, oh no, not the kids. Not, you know, I'm just being honest, because as long as it was, in my opinion, as long as it was gay men, didn't nobody care. So in many ways, I can see why people feel, black people and other people feel, that there are conspiracies, right? I get it. But I'm going to go on and say, similar to what Rev G said in his video as well, everything is not a conspiracy, y'all. Everything is not the boogeyman out to get you. People do die, right? Like, we're going to live and we're going to die. Those are things that are pretty much guaranteed. You know, you're going to live and you're going to die. None of us are going to be here forever. You know, and when people die, it isn't always some big brother was out to get them because they were trying to purchase this, you know, oh, he was about to buy NBC. Like, y'all just be coming up with all kinds of shit instead of just facing reality. People die. Things happen. You know, unfortunate things happen. It's sad that 9 people lost their lives on a helicopter. It's sad that a mother lost her husband and a child. It's sad that another family lost a mother, a father, and a sister. It's sad that people lost their lives. I agree. Rest in peace. But everything is not a conspiracy. Okay? But at the same time, you know me, psych perspectives, looking at different sides, different perspectives. At the same time, people, especially in marginalized identities, have a reason to think this is fishy, because throughout history, we have seen, like, case in point, Dr. King's assassination. You know what I mean? The example that I said in the early 80s, late 70s with the HIV epidemic and how it was targeting cisgender gay men, and nobody really seemed to care at that time. Fast forward, now HIV is a situation where this could have been an illness that could have been eradicated if we actually was taking it serious when it first started happening in the late 70s, early 80s. But because the target audience was a population that has been, you know, ostracized and, you know, demonized and disrespected and discriminated against, nobody cared. Until, in my opinion, the Ryan White situation, where you had this child contract HIV through a blood transfusion. Okay? But anyways, I'm just saying, rest in peace to the 9 people that lost their lives. You know, yes, Kobe Bryant, yes, Gianna Bryant, and the rest of the people who lost their lives on there. It's sad, but I don't necessarily think that this is a conspiracy theory. And again, a lot of these Hotep, Brotep, Notep, Dusties are constantly spreading misinformation on a daily basis. And it's ridiculous. Stop the madness, people.